Hi everyone! The third video will show you how to analyze the data for the third type, pie chart. Remember to follow 3 steps that I mentioned before in the first video for the line graph. If you have not yet seen this clip, click the link in the description. I will start by instructing you with an essay including one pie chart first. Step 1. Read the topic carefully and identify important information. Take a closer look at the pie chart. You can see it is the distribution of visitors in different tourist attractions in Britain in 1999. The column besides explains some recreational activities in theme park areas, and the data is displayed in percentage. In addition, the year is 1999, so remember to use the past tense in the essay. Step 2. Follow the given structure as I mentioned. The outline will include 3 parts: the introduction, the body paragraph, and the conclusion. However, to task 1, the conclusion is optional, so you can normally ignore it and finish the essay with only the first 2 parts. The first part is an introduction, paraphrasing the provided question in your own language in 1 sentence. The second part is the body paragraph. The first paragraph is for an overview of popular attractions preferred by visitors. The second and third paragraph are the main features with detailed figures. So normally, you will have a total of 4 paragraphs with a length of 7 or 8 sentences. Now let's analyze the pie chart to get the Band 9 answer. The chart below shows the results of a survey of people who visited 4 types of tourist attractions in Britain in the year 1999. Part 1. Introduction. As mentioned in the first and second clip for line graph and table, you can choose some easy words which underlined below to paraphrase. The chart below shows the results of a survey of people who visited 4 types of tourist attractions in Britain in the year 1999. First, we can give a specific name of the chart, pie chart, instead of only the chart. Secondly, because the pie chart mentions a lot of places with different activities, hence we should use compare to replace show. You can also use other verbs like illustrate, display, describe, and so on. Thirdly, to replace for the results of a survey, there are some noun phrases we can use, such as figures for, data or information of. Next, to get a higher score in writing, it is good to use some academic words in the correct context. In other words, we can only use visitors to explain for people who visited, not using tourist or guest. Specifically, we can give more detailed information based on the given data in the pie chart. For example, instead of types of tourist attraction, we can add more like categories of tourist attraction and to 5 different theme parks. Finally, we simplify the phrase in the year 1999 into in 1999. Part 2. Body graph. Paragraph 1. Overview. From this clip, you can see that I don't use lots of difficult words, but I try to vary the use of vocabularies and grammars. Furthermore, I make the outline first to make sure that my essay will be well organized. Have a quick look at the graph. We can see that the pie chart includes 2 parts, type of tourist attraction and different places in theme parks. So we will have 2 sentences for the overview. First of all, we emphasize the most significant feature of the pie chart, To the tourist attraction, they are theme parks and museums. And to the theme park sector, it is Blackpool. So we have sentences like, it is clear that theme parks and museums, galleries, were the two most popular types of tourist attraction in that year. Blackpool Pleasure Beach received by far the highest proportion of visitors in the theme park sector. It is obvious that because this pie chart displayed in 1999, so the tense used in the essay is the simple past tense. In addition, we should diversify the grammars and language used to describe the most percentage. For instance, for the first sentence, we use the phrase, the two most popular types of tourist attraction. Then the second sentences, we also describe by the different words with the same meaning, the highest proportion of visitors. Because the pie chart includes two parts, so we analyze these parts separately with types of tourist attractions in paragraph 3 and places of theme sector in paragraph 4. Paragraph 2. Main feature, types of tourist attraction. Firstly, you can use some expressing words or phrases to add in the sentence to make it longer and clearer. In this essay, we use looking at the information in more detail, we can see that. Here are some suggestions to use for your statement. As is highlighted in the graph, it can be clearly seen that. As the graph table shows, it is notable that. Secondly, we also focus on the most striking features first. Hence, we analyze the percentage of visitors in descending order, from the theme park to the wildlife parks and zoos. It is noted that you should remember to vary your language used. To describe the number of visitors, the first way is to state specific percentage like 38%, 37%, 16%, 9%, or use some paraphrases such as the largest percentage, the second position, or the least popular, or combine both. Next, using different grammar structures, it's a good idea to raise your band score. For instance, I use active and passive voice to describe the three kinds of tourist destinations: theme park, museum or gallery, and houses and monuments, and use compound sentence while to connect the last attraction, wildlife parks and zoos. Here is paragraph 2. Looking at the information in more detail, we can see that 38% of the surveyed visitors went to a theme park, and 37% of them went to a museum or gallery. By contrast, historic houses and monuments were visited by only 16% of the sample, while wildlife parks and zoos were the least popular of the four types of tourist attraction, with only 9% of visitors. Paragraph 3. Main feature, places in the theme park sector. Likewise, we also analyze the places in the theme park in descending order, with different structures used. In this paragraph, we use both specific data and phrases to describe. For the highest amount of visitors, we used almost half of the people surveyed, 47%, to state about Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It is a good way to combine using fractions and specific numbers to present about the proportion. And remember that if the number is quite similar to the phrase, don't forget to add some adverb with that phrase. To the excessive data, you can use some adverb like more than, just over. And to the lower, you can use nearly, almost, just under. Or use about, around, approximately, roughly, for general number. In addition, besides using passive or active sentences to give the information about places, you can also use the reduced relative clause with followed, or use the adverb respectively to list the places. For example, in the essay we use, Alton Towers was the second most popular amusement park, with 17% of the sample, followed by Pleasureland in Southport with 16%. Or you can rewrite this sentence as, Alton Towers and Pleasureland in Southport were visited by a large proportion of visitors, with 17% and 16% respectively. Finally, if you don't know lots of noun phrases with the same meaning, remember to use verbs instead. For the word visitors, here are some phrases and verbs I use in this essay. Noun: surveyed visitors. Verb: were visited by. People surveyed. Went to. People who visited had been to. Had welcomed. Here is paragraph 3. In the theme park sector, almost half of the people surveyed, 47%, had been to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Alton Towers was the second most popular amusement park, with 17% of the sample, followed by Pleasureland in Southport with 16%. Finally, Chessington World of Adventures and Legoland Windsor had each welcomed 10% of the surveyed visitors. Step 3. Writing an essay. The chart below shows the results of a survey of people who visited 4 types of tourist attractions in Britain in the year 1999. The chart below shows the results of a survey of people who visited 4 types of tourist attractions in Britain in the year 1999. The pie chart compares figures for visitors to 4 categories of tourist attraction and to 5 different theme parks in Britain in 1999. It is clear that theme parks and museums, galleries, were the 2 most popular types of tourist attraction in that year. Blackpool Pleasure Beach received by far the highest proportion of visitors in the theme park sector. Looking at the information in more detail, we can see that 38% of the surveyed visitors went to a theme park, and 37% of them went to a museum or gallery. By contrast, historic houses and monuments were visited by only 16% of the sample, while wildlife parks and zoos were the least popular of the 4 types of tourist attraction, with only 9% of visitors. In the theme park sector, almost half of the people surveyed, 47%, had been to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Alton Towers was the second most popular amusement park, with 17% of the sample, followed by Pleasureland in Southport with 16%. Finally, Chessington World of Adventures and Legoland Windsor had each welcomed 10% of the surveyed visitors.